Mr. Inch of Progress, what are you up to today? Well, today is actually an update on a previous video where I installed or tried to repair a tankless water heater Eco 11. Well, what I found out was the unit itself was defective, and so I'm going to pull this unit out today and replace it with the brand new Eco 11, and I'll try to go step by step in the process. So number one, you got to turn off the water. And number two, you have to identify where you're going to take it off from, and that's what I'm doing right here. Also, you want to make sure that the water is off, but on. You want to turn the actual faucets on so the water drains out, so you don't have any water in the lines. And, water always drains to the lowest level, so you leave them on. And then, of course, you got to turn off the power to the unit. Tankless water heaters, they draw a lot of power, so you have to turn them off. And then at that point, once you've identified the points of where you're going to take it off, you begin to take them off. Once you remove the cover from the unit, then you'll be able to see the incoming power and where it attaches to the unit. And once you disconnect the adjoining wires, all you have to do is just pull the unit off the wall and go on to the next step. At this point, what I do is get the new unit, and I want to make sure that all the wires are going to fit. I don't have to crimp or snip anything. And I also want to make sure that the bolts that I used previously line up with these bolts so it sits on the wall in the same exact place. This is a part of prepping the new unit. Once I confirm that the new install will fit in the exact same place as the old one, then I go over to the packaging from the new unit and I look at the fittings. And so you have to make sure that you put on the proper fittings to connect to the house. And in this case, it's easy because I know what fittings I'm going to use because of the old fittings that work properly. And so right now what I'm doing is just taking some plumber's tape and basically making sure that I'm going to have a good, tight, non-leaking seal between the fitting and the unit. And that's what I'm doing right now on both sides. Once the new unit is prepped, you go ahead and you run the wires back through the hole on the back side of the unit, and you make sure everything lines up and position it back on the wall. And that's when you can begin to reassemble the wires, white with white, black with black, and then you have the green for ground. Fairly simple and straightforward. After you connect the wires and you make sure the fittings are connected on each side, one for the incoming, one for the outgoing, you're probably going to have to snug them up a couple times just to make sure there's no leaks. The wires are installed, the ground's installed. At that point, you'll be ready to go ahead and turn the water on and test the unit. You turn the water on, the temperature's holding, this unit is working, and remember, if I can do it, you can do it too.